This week on my video blog, I decided to tackle an issue slightly different than my usual literary topics, and instead, I'm entering the realm of research. You've probably been told often that Wikipedia is a bad source and you shouldn't ever cite it. Most of the time, that's as far as the conversation goes and you never get the why. So here are 3 reasons why Wikipedia isn't a good source to check for formal research papers at the high school level or above. Reason number 1, anyone can edit it. This is problematic for 2 reasons. First of all, it means any Joe Schmo can edit it, so it could be a vandalized article. Like, for instance, if I go to an article for Tampa, Florida, a place I'd rather be as Mother Nature is still taking out her wintry wrath on us in central Illinois, I can click on the edit button at the very top and make whatever changes I want. And if a random student of mine is writing a paper on Tampa after I vandalized the article, they've got bad information. Now, there is an exception. This isn't true for every article. For instance, the first article I decided to check out on this to test it was for Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general who I had to write a 7th grade research paper on. And this article is called Semi-Protected. They also have a full protected status. Semi-protected limits who can make edits on an article, and full protected makes it virtually untouchable. So if they have protected articles, why can't we use those? The second reason this is problematic is that even if people are editing it with the finest of intentions, the quality of information just isn't likely to be as high as in other sources. Wikipedia has the attitude that all of us are smarter than some of us, so everyone should be able to offer whatever they know. This is fine for some topics, but when it comes to quantum physics, I'm going to trust what famous physicist Stephen Hawking says more than the average Wikipedia user says. The way this is fixed in most places is that in academic journals, which you'll use much more often in college, most of the information is what's called peer-reviewed. What this means is if I'm a physicist doing some original research and I write a paper and submit it, other physicists read that paper first to see if it seems reasonable to them. Wikipedia, to my knowledge, has no form of peer review, nor could it with the number of changes and number of topics they cover. Reason number 2, it's also just a general encyclopedia. General encyclopedias, like World Book or the Encyclopedia Britannica, are great starting points for learning about a topic, but they generally don't have the same depth of coverage that is needed for a formal research project, because ultimately they cover everything, just like Wikipedia does. To give you an idea of the depth I mean, let's look at an article for Sir Thomas More's book Utopia. The Wikipedia article certainly gives a decent amount of information about the book, but ultimately, when I was taking a graduate class for my master's, I learned there's an entire monthly journal called Moriana that covers nothing but topics on Sir Thomas More's writings. And his most well-known and discussed book, Utopia. General encyclopedias simply can't get the same of depth that other research can. In fact, Wikipedia has a rule against original research being put on their website for this exact reason. So Wikipedia shouldn't be used for a formal research paper in high school or college, the same way my World Book encyclopedias that my parents bought when I was in about 4th grade shouldn't be used for those projects. It's not that it's not reputable, it's just that it's not specific enough. And finally, reason number 3, many professors and teachers simply don't like it. There are some good reasons why and some terrible reasons why they don't, but ultimately, if you want to be taken seriously in an academic setting, you need to understand how the people that you're trying to get that A from will see the way you look at things. Professors will trash you for using Wikipedia because of the reasons stated above, and probably for other reasons as well. Think of your projects and papers as work you're doing for a client. If you were a graphic artist, for example, and the person said, "Make me a logo, I'd like it to be blue because I like blue," then if you care about actually completing the sale, you're going to do your best work you can within those constraints. So you're going to give them the best blue logo you can. Giving the client a bright pink logo won't satisfy the customer. Likewise, using Wikipedia won't satisfy your customer in class. Students tend to feel this creative license within some of their work, like what the teacher wants doesn't matter, but ultimately, I doubt you're writing a 5-page research paper on the evil experiments of Dr. Mengele because you decided it was the most entertaining way to spend your weekend. You're doing it because a teacher assigned it. So I know this is the least satisfying answer of the 3, but ultimately your teachers don't want you to use Wikipedia, and they're sort of like your customer for the product you're creating. So Wikipedia is great when you want to get a basic understanding of a topic or you want to settle a bet between you and your buddy, but when you're doing a formal research paper for one of your classes, go deeper. It's the right thing to do. Thanks for watching.